you think every human, let me be bold in this statement. Do you think every human walking or living on this planet right now has the potential to be
The
great?
best. Yes.
Every single person. So nobody should have those limiting beliefs. Nobody should think there's not inherently bad, evil people. There's not inherently incapable people.
So that's
Everybody
very
has the
interesting
ability.
because science will tell you that there are people that have, psychopathy
Sure.
and have narcissism, and there's some personality traits that are inherited, and that's completely that can happen. But you do have the choice to decide what type of life you want to live,
Yeah.
right? And I was having this conversation with somebody who I was coaching this morning, where as a woman and as a Black woman, sometimes you may face like misogyny or racism and all of these things, right? But that is happening externally. You still can you have the power to respond or to internalize things that happen to you. And I'm a Black woman. I'm a
Sure.
Black Hispanic woman who have faced challenges in my life, a lot of challenges. I have people that have underestimated me because I have an accent, that have not respected me because of my age. A lot of things have happened to me that I wasn't deserving of these things, right? At the same time, I can either let that destroy me or I can get up from that more powerful. So that's the choice. Like, what's the choice? If I'm living my best life, so this is going back to how do we overcome that, right?
Yeah.
How do we overcome all of these challenges, limiting beliefs, and things that happen to us? So there's a powerful exercise that I do with all the women that I coach. And I've coached men too, so don't worry. But usually, mostly I have like a lot of women sign up. But there is a powerful exercise that I've called the higher self. So the higher self exercise is when you can close your eyes and you can visualize the best version of yourself. Best version of yourself. So what's the best version? How does that person eat? How do they exercise? How do they take care of their body? How do they think about themselves? How, like everything, if you had everything you always wanted in your life, how does that person act, right? How do they behave? Like, and start looking at that person and visualizing that person. And then you assign that person a name. And why do we assign that person a name? We assign that person a name because when you want to believe that you can be that person, your brain is like, no, that's not you. You don't eat that way. You're always in a bad mood. You'll never do that. But the minute we assign that person another name, your brain will accept it. Will be like, that's possible that somebody that is named differently has that life, right? So it's a dance that you're doing with your brain. It's like you're trying to visualize and believe it. So in order for you to believe it, you're assigning another name, but you know it's you, right? And then whenever you're with the situation, like you're writing a book, like we said before, and you're feeling bad about writing the book, and you're feeling like there's something that is stopping you, that is making you stuck, you have to call that person in your mind and say, will that person write the book or not? The answer is probably yes. Because that person looks her full potential. You envision that person dresses a certain way, that person has a certain confidence, and that person will go and write the book. And that's when you start taking action from your full potential and not from your limiting beliefs.
You bypass the limiting beliefs to that because that person doesn't have those limiting beliefs.
Because that person doesn't have the limit. The results that you have in your life right now, you have those results right now because those results are a result of all the limiting beliefs and your experiences that you have in your life. That's why we go back into our past to check whether we have potential, to check whether we have worthiness, to check whether we have the confidence. We go, oh, I want to launch a new business. Let me go back to my library from before and check how many people in my family launch a business and fail. And then based on that, I'm going to make a decision that maybe it's not a good idea for me to launch a business. But if you start thinking from your future, from your full potential, you bypass all of that.
And to be fair, just to use an example, it's possible somebody goes through that exercise and let's say launching a business, right? And they say, well, what would that person do? And again, I'm making it up, but if they come to the conclusion, well, that person actually wouldn't do it because it's going to take so much work. It's going to take them away from making it up. It's going to take them away from their family and raising their children. And that person is so committed to raising their children. Then that tells you, okay, starting that business isn't the right thing for me right now. What's going to take for me to do that? and it's individual for each person, but it's
Mhm.
possible you get that feedback from that exercise as well. It's not just a
Exactly.
blindly positive exercise that says, I'm just going to push forward and do it. It really forces you to assess what you want out of life.
So I really love that you said this, because when you do that exercise, you also can actually notice that some of the things that you want to do in your life, you don't want to do them because you really want to do them,
Yeah.
but because you want to actively procrastinate on the things that you really care about.
Mm.
So that's why we do that exercise, because we not only want to believe that we can become that person, we are that person.
Mm.
But our limiting beliefs and the things that we do on a day-to-day basis keep us stuck.
Mm.
So we are just reminding ourselves, this is who I really am. This is what I really care about. Like, I don't care about having a business, or I don't care about doing this, or I don't care about doing that. I'm just doing it because society told me that I have to do it, or because I want to show people that I'm worthy, or because I want to show somebody that I belong,
Yeah.
but not because that's really what I want. And that's what, like, I make a lot of decisions in my life based on that. Like, even the type of clients that I take it on, like, that woman, what type of business or what type of like clients do that she wants to serve? What will make her jump
Yeah.
like from bed and just like be enamored with what she's doing? Like, these are the things, and you have to see it. And then when people come to me and say, well, can you do this? I'm like, no, even though I could, I'm not going to do it, because that's going to take time away from what I really
Yes.
know that makes me
And
feel
you
good.
know what it is that you
I
want,
know
you know
what
what
it
that
is,
person
and
is.
you're
Yeah.
focused. So when people talk about the law of attraction, right? And they talk about, manifesting things in your life, this is visualization, right? You're visualizing who you are. And the fact that you're able to see the things that are holding you back and say no to those things. That's why people say you have to say no,
Mhm.
so that you can focus. It's that focus that makes you take action towards that goal, but you have to
Yeah.
visualize it and see it.
It's such like a deep clarity on who you are. And I think where sometimes it goes wrong for people, and I think it's just the reality of it, right? There's so much value and goodness in what you're saying, but it's hard. It can
It
be
is.
complicated. I think when people try and oversimplify it, and you see this sometimes on people on YouTube or Instagram or whatever, where they present it in too simple of a way of like, just set boundaries, just say no, just do this. Those words aren't inaccurate. That
Mm.
advice is right, but if it doesn't have the depth and the clarity that you're articulating, it's just that. It's just meaningless words. And people don't, if they try and follow that advice, it doesn't actually work for them. They have to do that deep mindset work, as you're talking about first. Then those words and that advice can
Mhm.
apply.
They have
But
to
sometimes people
embody
try and
it. They
jump.
have to
Yeah.
feel it.
They have to feel it. And sometimes people want to jump that and do it in a quicker way. And you can't really skip steps on this.